Pam Bondi, Donald Trump cracking down on DC, okay? Because you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me in any possible world that having crime statistics that look like this is a good thing. Tom Homan said the other night, he was on Fox and he was like, look, you know, I think that we have to put an end to this sanctuary city stuff. And so there was some speculation, this is in the last 36 hours, that it would happen. And then, you know, within the last however many hours, in fact, it did. But here's Tom first talking about this.
I think D.C. under federal control is not going to be a sanctuary city. We're working with the police hand in hand. When we encounter a criminal, illegal alien, they're going to be turned over to ICE. And that's the way it should be. I mean, I'm not saying every illegal alien in D.C. is a criminal, but many are. So these are people we're going to focus on. An illegal alien criminal safety threat in D.C. is not going to be protected. There's no sanctuary for these people in the city of D.C.
Okay, I'm right in the middle of Pam's orders here. You can see one on each side. So she came out last night and she's like, okay, we're ending. Finito, effective now, the sanctuary status in Washington, D.C. And she went on to Fox to talk about it.
They're trying to protect criminal aliens. And what's going to happen if we keep this up? Criminals are going to flee to D.C. and we're not going to let that happen. And that's why at my directive, we have made Terry Cole now the commissioner over the police. We have made Gaddy Serralto my U.S. Marshal. He runs the entire show, keeping everyone organized, and they report directly to me, and I report to the President of the United States. So, yes, you must comply. You must give the information to our ICE, to our Homeland Security officers. If they have information of an illegal alien living in D.C., they must give us that information. And we are going to stop crime, Sean, in D.C., and we're going to clean it up in this country. And President Trump is committed to that. No longer is that going to happen in this beautiful city where our tourists come, where our residents live. We all live here. We are going to keep it safe. And it's our nation's capital. It's beautiful, and it's going to be beautiful and clean again.
And maybe you can get that homicide rate down. I mean, hey, look, if we could be on par with Nairobi, I think everybody would be really happy. Or even Mexico City, 8 per 100,000, as opposed to, what is this, 41 per 100,000. I mean, that is just awful. And then people are like, oh no, the crime rates are coming down. It's like, it doesn't matter, for goodness sakes. It doesn't. You can't sit there and argue, oh, well, the crime rates are coming down. They're back at 2019 levels. 2019 levels were not good. I mean, we showed some video the other day of Joe Biden back in 1992 saying how bad it was in Washington, D.C., and that he was being told by his staff to run red lights effectively, to speed up whenever he got to a light, because you didn't ever want to run the risk of being carjacked. It's so crazy that you even got members of the DOJ out there doing their thing. Did you hear about the guy at the Turkey Club? So he had a Subway sandwich, and he took his big sub sandwich and he went and assaulted an officer, okay, with his Subway sandwich, because he doesn't want this crime crackdown. I mean, woo! Okay, somebody who worked at the DOJ. Well, needless to say, this guy got fired instantaneously on the spot, and now he's facing arrest. I mean, hey, you can't attack a federal officer. Gosh, buddy, you worked at the DOJ. You'd think you'd know that. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. They had sort of the whole system rigged. This is all Obama, who had all his people there, and they had a certain mentality. All right, and now it's changing, and they don't quite know how to deal with it. So what do? They're a bunch of spoiled kids. They go out and get a Subway sandwich and hit it. You know what's going to happen? Oh, you know, I wanted to say it. La Monica, right? La Monica MacGyver. Think about what went down in New Jersey with her. I mean, LaMonica is now facing 17 years for assaulting a federal officer. Maybe this guy will find out the hard way. That's what happens, because this administration intends to be tough on crime, period. End of story. You heard it from the president himself.
The Democrats are afraid to do anything because they don't want to be criticized. But fighting crime is a good thing. We have to explain. We're going to fight crime. That's a good thing. Already they're saying, he's a dictator. The place is going to hell, and we've got to stop it. So instead of saying he's a dictator, they should say, we're going to join him and make Washington safe. But they say, he's a dictator. And then they end up getting mugged, and, you know, but the stats are very bad. But we're going to, I think we'll actually get Democrat support. I really believe they can't do this one too.
No, you can't, because you can't actually seriously think that this is acceptable or this is good. And so they're getting a warning from some commentators on MSNBC saying, hey, be careful, because politically this is a challenging issue. He's got you in a corner here, because if you come out against this, you're effectively pro-crime. You're okay with these homicide rates. You're going to sit there and defend this. Then the other tactic is to say, oh, well, this is somehow, race, and he's race baiting and da 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 da. I'm sorry, if he's going after cities that are dangerous places, this is one that he actually legally can go after and he can take control over. So he's taking that opportunity, whether you like it or not. Representative Barbara Lee on CNN.
But let me just say also, it's not lost on anyone that the cities that he is calling out, first of all, have large numbers of Black and brown people. Secondly, the crime rate is going down in all of these cities. Thirdly, they're all headed by Black mayors. Now, what does that say? What does that picture paint?
What it might actually say is that for whatever reason, the Democrat mayors in those particular towns, I don't care what color their skin is, are not actually serving their constituents the way they should, okay? What it tells you is that if there's a lot of crime in a particular city, whether that be Chicago, whether that be LA, whether that be New York, or whether that be DC, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And anything that the federal government can do to help you, you'd think you take. I mean, you guys, I thought you liked all the federal government help, right? You wanted all the money from the federal government. You wanted all the resources from the federal government. Oh, except when it's Trump. I mean, even the mayor of DC, she's kind of changed her tune on this. At first, she was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, the federal government can help. And now somebody got to her. She doesn't want it anymore. They don't want it if it's Trump helping, huh?
It is a step in fascism when the federal government can Bigfoot sovereign states. That's not us. We should be the 51st state. I think that is what he is trying to make it normal, where citizens say the federal government should overtake local policing.
Okay. So what is she intending to do then? I mean, look, it can happen. It does happen. It happened in June out in California. Gavin still, he's bruised from that one because the Ninth Circuit Appellate Court said, yep, he can send in the National Guard. And this is what he's done to D.C. And it's easier in D.C., right? Because it's not a state, so it's a different kind of process. But this woman, she's not that bright. I mean, the other day, she sounded sane. She went on to MSNBC and they're like, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is about race. And she said, oh, I know that is popular to talk about on the campaign circuit, but the reality is, or on the campaign trail, reality is we're talking about governance here. And when you're governing, look, there's a lot of things the federal government can actually help us with. So she sounded like she was ready, willing, and able to work with them until, like I said, somebody said politically you can't do this. Now you hear her, with a different tune. But I would just say, here's the bottom line. She strikes me as not all that bright. Not all that bright. And you know how I know she's not that bright? For goodness sakes, the other day, they asked her about the chain of command. She didn't even seem to understand or know what that was. I'm sorry, the D.C. mayor doesn't know this?
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Chain of command? Like who's in charge? Oh, it's Trump. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's what they're struggling with. And I get it. They just hate him, period. They have nothing more to say other than we hate him, we hate him, we hate him. But that's not going to actually keep your city safe. And what you guys need to do is do everything you can to keep your city safe.